At 25, they traded probably the best scorer in the NBA at 25. And he didn't know about it. I'm excited to see the first time the Lakers play Dallas in Dallas. I'm super excited to see that. Oh my God. It's in a few weeks. If we not playing, I'm buying front row tickets to that. Hey, for real.
Shocked probably like the rest of the world. Just didn't hear it coming, didn't see it coming. Try not to put too much into it. Try to wrap my head around it. I'm glad my job is to put.
I think nobody's safe in the league, it seems like.
In a jaw-dropping move that's shaking up the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers have pulled off one of the most unexpected trades in recent memory. In a high-stakes blockbuster deal, the Lakers have acquired superstar Luka Dončić, along with Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris. In return, the Dallas Mavericks received Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round draft pick. The news hit the league like a thunderclap fans' analysts, and even fellow players were left reeling as the shock begins to fade. Reactions are pouring in from some of the game's biggest names, including one of Luka's closest friends in the league. Nikola Jokić, and Doncic share more than just MVP-level talent. They've formed a deep bond as European stars who carved out their place at the top of the NBA. Both have had to adapt to a new culture, a different lifestyle, and the intense spotlight that comes with global fame. That's why when Jokic heard the news, he was quick to voice concern for his friend, knowing the emotional and mental toll a major move like this can take. For Luka, the court might stay the same. Size, but everything else around him is about to change in a big way.
I texted him, he felt it, of course, I think he didn't expect it, of course. I think he just needs to be with his family right now, it's a big move, it's a business, I don't know, I think nobody expected, especially not him. I think nobody's safe in the league, it seems like, but I think he's going to do a good job, I think he's the player for the big scene.
Nikola Jokić didn't hide his emotions when the news broke. His reaction wasn't just about basketball, it was personal. To Jokić, Luka Doncic's trade wasn't just a headline. It felt like a gut punch, a reminder of how unforgiving the NBA can be. One minute, you're rooted in a city you call home, the next you're packing up for a new chapter, no matter your star status. His comments carried the weight of someone who knows how fragile those bonds can be. He spoke of family, of connection, and of how quickly those ties can be tested in a league driven by business. Still, after the initial shock, Jokić took a deep breath and saw the silver lining. Luka, he said, deserves the biggest spotlight. And in the world of basketball, there's no stage bigger than the Los Angeles Lakers. Meanwhile, Steph Curry offered his own take, one shaped by his unique journey as the face of the Golden State Warriors. Curry's name is woven into the fabric of the franchise, but it wasn't always that way. Early in his career, trade rumors swirled around him too. But once he blossomed into a generational talent, the Warriors made a clear choice. They were building around him, and now, it's nearly impossible to picture Steph in any jersey but the one with the bridge on it. Even with the Warriors facing tough times and his prime years behind him, the front office has never once hinted at moving him. Curry isn't just a player, he's a symbol, a beloved figure across the bay. So when he heard about Luka's trade, he couldn't help but be stunned. He recognized how rare it is for players of that caliber to be moved at all. Steph called it like it is. Luka's in that rare class of stars who seem untouchable almost. But in true Curry fashion, he ended on a smile, joking about just how wild and unpredictable the NBA has become. Because if this trade proves anything, it's that in this league, nothing is ever truly off the table.
It's a reminder, maybe only a few in this league that can go to sleep with, any type of confidence, but that you'll still be there. It's kind of a very unique situation across the board, but I think just the idea that it happened in silence was pretty crazy. The fact that you hear a trade and everybody thinks somebody's been hacked is hilarious.
When the news dropped, it was so unbelievable that some people thought ESPN had been hacked. Luka Dončić traded for Anthony Davis. It felt like a glitch in the Matrix. The league hadn't heard a whisper. No rumors, no leaks. Just a sudden headline that left fans, players, and even Steph Curry in total disbelief. The complete silence before the storm only made the impact louder. This wasn't just a trade, it was a thunderclap no one saw coming. And if anyone knows the weight of a blockbuster move, it's Kevin Durant. In the back half of his career, KD's name has become synonymous with headline trades. He's hopped between title contenders, adapting to new systems, and chasing more rings. But rewind the clock to his early years in Oklahoma City, and Durant was the definition of untouchable. Back then, trading him wasn't even a conversation. He was the cornerstone of the franchise, breaking records and earning MVP buzz. Before he could rent a car, that's what makes the Luka deal so surreal to Durant. He sees a reflection of his younger self in Luka rising, superstar in his early 20s with a sky-high ceiling and a team built around him. Players like that are considered untouchable. They're supposed to be the foundation, not trade bait. So when KD saw Luka get dealt to LA, his first reaction was pure disbelief. Yes, he's seen the madness of NBA trades time and time again, but even for a seasoned vet like Durant, this one stood out. And while he couldn't help but be amazed at the wild twist, he also showed empathy. KD understands how deeply moves like this can hit, especially for a young star blindsided by change. Because in this league, even the future can be traded in a heartbeat.
Insane, man. It's crazy. Crazy. Yeah, would have never thought Luka Dončić would get traded at this age, mid-season. Yes, NBA is a wild place, man. If he can get traded, then anybody's up, for grabs, So, yeah, so the fans, somebody spectating is pretty fun. I know it's kind of nerve-wracking, probably for Luka and everybody in Dallas, LA, AD.
The last time a trade deadline rocked the NBA like this, the names at the center were Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Back then, Kyrie was shipped from Brooklyn to Dallas, move sparked by concerns about his fit within the Nets' long-term vision. But what looked risky on paper turned into one of the boldest success stories in recent NBA history. The Mavericks didn't have to sacrifice much to pair Kyrie with Luka Dončić, and that gamble paid off big time. From the moment they shared the floor, their chemistry was undeniable. The offense flowed like clockwork. Doubters quieted, and in no time, they propelled the Mavs all the way to the NBA Finals. Some even called them the most talented offensive backcourt the league had ever seen. But their bond went far deeper than the stat sheet. Kyrie and Luka built something special. On the court, they trusted each other. Off the court, they built a real friendship, something rare in the hyper-sure world of professional basketball. That's why this latest trade hit so hard. After everything they accomplished together, after the noise, the wins, the belief being torn apart with no warning has to hurt. For Luka, Kyrie, and the fans who watched them light up arenas together, this separation feels more like a heartbreak than a transaction.
Just really shocked, and you just don't imagine that you're going to get ready to go to sleep and then you find out news like that. So it's still a grieving process right now. Miss my hermano. We had a lot of time together.
When Kyrie Irving described this moment as a grieving process, it said everything to Kyrie. Luka Dončić wasn't just a co-star in the backcourt. He was a brother. Their connection ran deep, forged through trust, respect, and a shared journey to the top. Having been traded multiple times himself, Kyrie knows better than most how jarring it is to be pulled from a team, a city, and a vision you've committed to. That's what made his words hit with such weight. He wasn't speaking as a former teammate, but as someone who truly felt the loss. And while the league is filled with stars, very few understand Luka's situation like Anthony Edwards. Edwards has already become the face of the Minnesota Timberwolves, leading them to the Western Conference Finals, where he went head-to-head with Luka and the Mavericks. Though he came up short in that series, there's no animosity between them, just mutual respect. Following the trade, Edwards spoke with heart. He called Luka the best scorer in the NBA, a rare compliment coming from one of the league's most competitive young stars. But beyond the praise, Edwards offered something more powerful: perspective. The kind that only another young cornerstone can provide. He knows the pressure, the expectations, the emotional toll of being the guy a franchise builds everything around. So when he spoke about Luka, it wasn't just sympathy, it was solidarity.
They say that nobody knew about the trade. Yeah, so that's crazy. At 25, they traded probably the best scorer in the NBA at 25, and he didn't know about it. So it's a lot more digging somebody got to do to find out why he got traded, because you don't just trade him at 25. He just went to the finals, you know what I'm saying? So I feel bad for Luka, man, because I saw some on YouTube that said he just bought a crib and everything in Dallas. So that sucks, man. That sucks.
Anthony Edwards didn't sugarcoat it. He flat out questioned the logic behind the Luka Dončić trade. To him, a move like this doesn't just come out of nowhere without some hidden story behind the scenes. And honestly, he might have a point. Deals of this magnitude, involving a generational superstar still in his prime, they just don't happen not like this. It's unprecedented no matter the reasoning. One thing is clear: This has to be an emotional gut punch for Luka and his family. He recently dropped $15 million on a home in Dallas, clearly believing he'd be rooted there for the long haul. After everything he gave to the Mavericks, he had every reason to believe that his future was secure, that he'd be the face of the franchise for years to come. But amid the whirlwind of emotions, leave it to Josh Hart to lighten the mood. Never one to miss a moment for a quick quip. Hart delivered his trademark humor in response to the trade. His first reaction, a shout-out to Lakers GM Rob Pelinka for pulling off a move this bold. But the real gem came next. He jokingly reminded everyone that he was part of Pelinka's first blockbuster trade years ago. It was a full-circle moment, both hilarious and a little surreal, and a reminder that while the NBA is a business, it's also a theater of the unexpected.
You gotta give credit to Rob Pelinka, man. He's a highway rivalry, you know. Good for them. You know, it's always good, you know, with someone like me when I get traded for like a superstar. So kind of got traded for Luka, so it's kind of great vibe.
Josh Hart couldn't help but find the comedy in the chaos. And honestly, he earned it. After all, Hart was part of the original blockbuster that brought Anthony Davis to the Lakers back in 2019, a trade that cost the team Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Hart himself, and a treasure chest of first-round picks. That move helped LA win a championship. So, when Davis got flipped for Luka Dončić years later, Hart delivered a perfect punchline by the transitive property.